So today we're talking through how promo distributors can use AI to speed up, stand out, and get strategic. So thank you everyone for joining. I think this will be super informative. I've got a lot of stuff to go through, so let's get into it. So first of all, who am I? Who's going to be talking to you guys today? My name is Chase Kilby. I'm a Senior Growth Marketing Manager here at Facilisgroup. So I'll be talking through some stuff for the first part. And then also with us is our Chief Product Officer, Matthew Cromar, who's going to be sharing some awesome information a little later today as well. So that's who we are. Now, who is Facilisgroup? I know we've got a lot of current partners on the call, so obviously you guys are well aware of who we are. But for those that may be a little less familiar, I want to just give a brief overview so you at least have context into why we're speaking with you about this topic. So Facilisgroup is the promo industry's only 360-degree platform and partnership built to break those growth ceilings. So we've got a nice representation here of what Facilisgroup is all about. We are all about helping promotional product distributor businesses grow. And it really comes down to a few different things. So part one of that is our robust software platform, which is Syncor, which again, for all of the current partners out there, you guys are well aware of. Moving on, we then have our Core 360 strategic playbooks that are built on our 20 years of experience in the promo industry. We also have the built-in buying group aspect. And then last but definitely not least, my personal favorite part of being a part of the Facilisgroup community is the partnership and the community and the amazing benefits that come along with that. So that's who we are. That's what Facilisgroup is all about. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. We're here to talk about AI, specifically AI for promo distributors. And so here's our agenda, and I'll go over some housekeeping stuff real quick. So I'm going to go through 5 promo-specific AI tactics that I believe will be beneficial to anybody on the call. I'm not going to get crazy technical. We're not going to talk about code and all sorts of crazy cool stuff that's going on, which there's amazing things happening. I'd love to chat with people about it. We don't have enough time for that. And I think the goal today is to provide as much value for you guys as possible. So I do have 5 tactics that I think you will find very valuable. After that, Cromar, as I mentioned, is here with us as well. He's going to go through a preview of the Syncor AI data suite, which will be pretty awesome. So you want to make sure you stick around for that if you can. And then after that, we will have time for Q&A. So if, as we're going through things, you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A section here in Zoom, because at the end, we'll have time to go through those. And then also AI toolkit access. We will have a QR code on the screen at the end as well for you guys to access that. We'll also send it in an email afterwards, so you'll have that as well. So each tactic I go through and talk about, we've built out a toolkit around the different examples, guides, cheat sheets, prompts, things I share on this call. So you guys can take that with you, start implementing it as soon as possible. So it's not just something that you sit here during your lunch and then you forget. You actually have a tangible guide to help you implement. So, okay, let's get to the good stuff. So 2 things I want to call out before I get to our first tactic. One is the focus on the importance of humans still in these processes. So this is a brief statistic here. So 52% of people prefer human support for their empathy and understanding. And this is according to some Hiver HQ research. So I want to make sure I get the point across that I'm going to be sharing tactics today that are all about how humans and AI can come together to optimize your business, improve your processes, and just operate more efficiently. There's plenty of things that humans are still better at than AI, such as building client trust, creative problem solving, those gut feel things, empathy and emotions. Those are required things in any business you're in, and humans are always going to be better at that. Now, on the flip side, and what we're here to talk about, there's a lot of cool things AI can do. Humans can't process hundreds of pages of data in seconds. AI can do that. Or working 24/7 with no bad days or no burnout. These are things AI can do that humans, for better or worse, no matter how great we are, some things we're just not capable of. So a lot of what we're going to talk about is where those things come together, which you can see in the middle of this Venn diagram here. So writing client proposals, pricing strategy, training new hires, things that you can bring both sides of this Venn diagram together to achieve. That's what I want to focus on. So last thing before I get to our first tactic here is I do want to call out important things to consider when implementing AI strategy at your organization. And keep this in the back of your head as I talk through these different tactics I'm going to cover. Data privacy, data security is very, very important. It should be top of mind anytime you're using any sort of AI tools. And part of the toolkit is actually going to be this AI usage policy template. This is actually based off of what we use here internally at Facilisgroup. This is super important. If you guys do not have an AI usage policy within your organization yet, I highly recommend that as your homework, you take this away and go implement that for a variety of reasons. The obvious is that your teams, your peers, they know what they can and can't do with AI. They know what tools are approved. They know what tools are not approved. They know what sorts of data can be uploaded, what sort of data can't be uploaded, all that good stuff. Without that policy in place, it's going to be difficult to implement a strategic AI strategy for your organization. So definitely leverage this, go implement this. This is super important. All right, I promise I'm done. Now we're going to talk about the cool stuff. Let's get to the tactics. So I do want to just reiterate too in the chat, if you do have questions, feel free to drop them. I'm already seeing some come in, which is great. And yes, we will share these with you guys at the end. So perfect. Let's get into it. Tactic number 1. Next level product mockups. So we're starting with some cool visual stuff. I thought that'd be a good place to start because these slides are a little more exciting than some of the more data number stuff we'll get into a little later. So how can we use AI to create these product mockups that are taking it to the next level? So I'm sure we're all aware of something like this evolution of product mockups in our space. On the left here at the very beginning, we've got the simple screenshot. So it's I'm almost wearing I didn't even plan this. This is almost the exact shirt that is actually in this example. That's kind of funny. But you can see you've got the product, the navy shirt with where the logo is going to go. Share this with your clients. They get an understanding of what they can expect from your sales process. In the middle there, kind of a step up from the simple screenshot, you've got the 3D renderings where it's an animated version of the product with some artwork. Those are pretty cool. And then I'm sure many of us have gotten to this point here on the far right, the basic ChatGPT prompting where you can say, hey, put this person in this setting wearing this shirt. Maybe some of us are already doing this, maybe not. This is another area that's growing when it comes to mockups in the space. But I want to talk about how we can take this to the next level. How can we do things using AI tools quickly to set ourselves apart, to differentiate ourselves within the sales process? How can we do that? So my first example here is placing real people with the products. This is, you may recognize the gentleman on the screen. If you don't, that's okay. That is me. This is actually from the promo video we shot for this exact webinar. So placing real people with the product. It's just something that's outside the box, something that maybe a client would not expect. And there may be use cases where, you might be working with someone that would really get a kick out of seeing themselves with whatever the products are, whether it's a shirt like this example, a water bottle, backpack, whatever the case may be, a variety of things. Obviously it could be. But I just wanted to show just how easy something like this is. And it's again, just setting yourselves apart. So this was done with ChatGPT 5.4. That is OpenAI's ChatGPT's latest model. And I'll talk a little bit more about models later. But this was done, like I said, super simple prompt. You can see it here on the screen. I uploaded the original image. So myself on the left, I uploaded the blank product, so the navy t-shirt, and then also the artwork, so the Facilisgroup logo, and then this very simple prompt here that I won't read, but you can read on the screen. And you can see the result. It's pretty good at doing things like this. And so again, super simple example, super fun way, again, set yourself apart within the sales process. Let's look at another way you can do this. So placing them in a hyper-realistic setting. This is another fun way to stand out. You might recognize the gentleman in the left at the trade show. This is actually, let me go back. This is supposed to be the same gentleman from these images. But using the right tools and the right prompts, I can make a hyper-realistic image using these tools. So you can see with this one, I leveraged Google Gemini's Nano Banana 2. That is, so Gemini is Google's AI tool. Nano Banana 2, I don't know why they called it that, but it's fun, is their image generation tool specifically. And it's very, very powerful when it comes to generating realistic images like this. So if you haven't played around with that, I recommend doing so. So you can see I asked it to place him in a hyper-realistic setting at a trade show, wearing obviously the shirt we're talking about. Again, this will all be in the guide you guys will get afterwards as well, but just using things in your prompts like hyper-realistic setting, as if there's a photo being taken of him. It's a variety of things you can work into your prompts to make these images higher quality, and not make them look AI generated, because people are kind of getting accustomed to that. So you can see that on the right there, I kind of combined both of these ideas where I placed myself at a volunteer event at the park. So maybe, you're working with your client and they need X, Y, and Z for this event or this trade show, or there's a variety of situations where this could potentially come up. Doing this is a great way to stand out. And I think what's really interesting and why it's worth sharing this is how quickly you can do it. I think a lot of us may see this and be like, oh, that's going to take so much time, or, oh, I don't have time to do that. I'm trying to move fast, which all of us are. But with the latest tools and these strategic formulas, there's a lot of great ways you can do this super quick. So some more examples here. Fun fact, Facilisgroup is located here in St. Louis, Missouri. So I use some actual St. Louis brands here to share with you guys. First Form, Emerson, Purina, and Edward Jones. All of these images were generated using ChatGPT 5.4, the latest model. So the way to get the best results out of this is the exact formula written at the top of this slide, which is top image generation tools, strategic prompting formulas. That's how we do this well. And I think it's important to reiterate, using the best tools when it comes to image generation is super important. It's going to get you the best results. There's a variety of tools out there that can do this. But using the best ones is going to help you generate better images. And it's a constant changing game. Honestly, some of the things that I have in these slides that I built a few weeks ago have already been a little outdated because that space is just moving so fast. So the two tools I would recommend here, as I showed in my previous examples, ChatGPT 5.4 is very, very good at image generation. I'm sure a lot of us are already familiar with using ChatGPT as well. So I want to call that tool out. And then Google Gemini's Nano Banana 2 also is super powerful. There's other tools out there, Midjourney. There's a few others, but these are the tool that I've experienced to be have the most success with when it comes to generating these hyper-realistic images like this. Something else I want to call out, I've seen a lot of distributors run into this problem where, a client sends you their artwork and it's an AI generated image. And obviously you guys need a vector or SVG, a super high quality file to actually, produce the real thing. And I've seen some talk online about this. And one of the things I want to call out is ChatGPT 5.4. Again, this was released in early March. It actually does allow for SVG files now. I say that with a grain of salt because I've played around with it and it's not great. There's some challenges you can run into, and it's not, you don't get quite exactly what you're looking for. Maybe if you play around with it enough, you can. But just want to call out that now exists. And like I said, it's all moving fast, so it's probably only going to get better. So just know that. But then these other two tools I have actually used myself, and I found them to be quite useful for this sort of a use case. So should you be in that boat where you're getting AI images from clients and they're expecting it to work for your purposes, but you need the vector, the SVG files, Recraft AI and Vector Magic are two tools that are very useful for these examples. So, okay, moving forward here. So again, at the end, you guys will get access to the AI toolkit. One piece of that is this promo mockup guide, which is going to share all the prompts, tools, prompting formulas, things like that I briefly touched on. It goes a lot deeper though, so you guys will have access to that. And then also wanted to call out for the partners on the call, Syncor obviously has the easy mockups tool. And so I highly recommend using that as well. That's great for moving fast, making sure you are able to, move quickly enough whenever you just need something quick. I don't think every situation, and obviously be your own judge, is going to need some crazy image where it's the person in the photo with the product. And obviously that's not always going to be the case. But for when it is, we can now do this quickly and really stand out against the competition. So, all right. Moving on to tactic number 2, let's talk about smarter pricing, analyze margins, and detect inefficiencies. I'm just going to check the Q&A super fast because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, we got some stuff coming in. That is good. All right, let's move forward here. So there's 3 things I want to cover within tactic number 2. Supplier comparisons. How can we do this quickly and efficiently using AI tools? Margin analysis. I've got a pretty cool little dashboard we built out that I want to share with you guys. And then RFP acceleration. So 3 things that can help us speed up our day and just get a little more efficient, a little faster. So let's start with supplier comparisons. In this example, I've got 3 different products I'm looking at from a few different suppliers, and I want to be able to compare and contrast the various pieces of information with each product. I can build this Excel spreadsheet. I can have my tabs open. I can click back and forth. I can build it. Even if you're an Excel wizard, which I am not, but I know some people are, you can do this in probably 30 minutes or so, but it's still a lot of clicking back and forth, a lot of information you have to pull from these different areas. It's still not quite as efficient as maybe we want to be. How can we make this faster with AI? So in this example, I'm using Claude, which again, I'll talk about models here in a second, but I wanted to share how I did this. So you can see my simple prompt over here on the right, and then I actually included the links. You can upload links or PDF documents, whichever you have access to, into your LLM of choice. This can then basically go through all the information and produce this table that you saw on the previous slide. And the nice thing about Claude here is it will connect directly to my Google Drive. I can click that little Google Drive button in the top right, and then you can see it opens the table for me automatically. This is a GIF that's just on repeat. So you can see how much time this would save you if this is a situation where you're in, we need to compare these things. Huge time saver if you're able to leverage these tools. Also wanted to call out on this. You'll notice as it's generating its response. So I click here, boom, it's starting to think. That second line actually says that the Sandbar page didn't render product details. Let me search for a specific product and fetch the other 2 URLs. So I actually uploaded the incorrect link in this example. I did not do this on purpose, but it's kind of perfect because I wanted to call out how intelligent these tools are getting. But I included the wrong link. It was able to recognize that and actually go search for the correct link, pull that information in, and still create the table. So just a call out for how intelligent these tools are getting. You could not do this 2 years ago or so. It would not get that level of data analysis within the tools. So super simple use case that I think a lot of people would get value from. Let's look at margin analysis because I nerded out on this one. I think this result is pretty interesting. So margin analysis, I've got a fake spreadsheet here of fake sales data from the last month. It's got client names, order dates, order numbers, product categories, my costs, all the information that would be in any sort of sales export. And I want to be able to understand from a margin perspective, how many of these orders have margins under or over 35%, just as an example. I want to be able to break it down also by client name, order date, order number. So how can I do that? Let me jump to this next slide here. So again, use Claude for this example. With this very simple prompt, and then I uploaded my spreadsheet of data. Again, I'm just going to check the chat real quick. Want to make sure I'm not missing anything in the Q&A. Will notes be provided? Recraft, Victor Magic. Okay, all these things will be addressed. This is perfect. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So what this is able to do. So as you can see, I uploaded the spreadsheet. I gave it this simple prompt of what I'm trying to look for. And you can see this super cool interactive dashboard it's able to produce for me where I can hover over these different data points. It's going to show me what orders were over that 35% margin versus under that 35% margin. I can also look at it in different ways if I want to look at it by product category or the particular client if they had reorders. Lots of cool stuff I'm able to generate, again, in seconds using these tools to be able to look at and analyze this data. So super cool use case there as well. Jumping over to RFP acceleration. Let's click here. Perfect. So you guys are probably familiar with this stuff where you're getting these long documents with lots of information, much of which may be hard to sift through, annoying to sift through. You just want to make sure you can submit the best proposal, the best bid you can. So how can we use AI to get better at this, get faster at this? Simply upload those to an LLM of choice, prompt it with the simple prompt I have here, and it's going to be able to weed through the information that is less relevant to you being able to do your job and respond to these as best as possible. And you can see here, it's created this awesome bulleted spreadsheet for me. Not spreadsheet, but bulleted, basically an overview of all the important information I need to know to be able to respond to this RFP. So another super simple use case that I think can save lots of time and help us become more efficient. Now, as we mentioned, the pricing and margin analysis prompt pack, you guys will have that in the AI toolkit. This will show the prompts I used, go a little bit deeper on different ways you could do this. So definitely take a look at that. And then another call out for the partners on the call. Within Syncor, the margin analysis and supplier comparison stuff, a lot of that you can do now in Syncor, obviously. So you guys are likely, hopefully well aware of that. But definitely play around with the RFP acceleration piece and see if you can find that beneficial. So, okay, moving on. I'm talking fast, but I know we got a lot of stuff to get to. So if I am talking too fast, I apologize. But the recording will be available. So if you need to look back at this, reference back to it, you'll have that. And obviously the toolkit as well. So, all right, tactic number 3. We're going to get a little bit more tactical, for lack of a better word, a little more technical in this one. So hopefully that is okay. But how can we turn tribal knowledge into SOPs, document process without the busy work? How do we do that leveraging AI? So let's jump into it. I'm sure many of us potentially feel like this gentleman here on this slide. I know I do from time to time, where we've got all this great information about the business, workflows, processes, how things get done. All of that lives up inside of your head. And, you know, if we're good practitioners, good at documenting things, we create standardized operating procedures, SOPs that show exactly how we do certain things in our organization, so that as we're onboarding or, you know, growing the team, we can share those processes and it's standardized across the organization. That's obviously how we want to do it. I can speak from my personal experience. I'm awful at this. You can ask anybody on my team. I'm guilty of it. I need to get better. And AI has made me better at it, which is what I want to share with you guys today. So in a previous world, you've got all this information, you document it in SOPs. That SOP then sits still for 6 months. That data is now pretty much outdated because so much has changed in 6 months that now it's not really even relevant. And you're just wasting time creating these documents. That's where AI can step in. And that's why I think it's never been more important to create these SOPs, and then never been more important to leverage AI to essentially create this consciousness around your business that can help in any aspect, whether it's sales, marketing, customer success, finance, operations, onboarding, hiring, all these aspects of the business I'm sure many of us are dealing with. This can really help. So let's get into what that actually looks like. This is sort of what I'm describing here is I'm sure many of us are in this first phase, this manual phase of doing business. You're manually creating SOPs, manually documenting things, manually writing things. I'm sure many of us on the call have started dabbling with AI if you're not already deep in it, which is amazing. I hope you are. But a lot of what I'm talking about today is all about moving from that manual phase to becoming more of an AI optimized organization. So that's a lot of what we're talking about, and that's what I'll get into here in a second. Tactic number 3. I wanted to share, though, the agentic AI is sort of that next phase. I do not have nearly enough time to get into that stuff. Maybe that's another conversation for another day. That can get a little more technical and get a little more intense. But for the 10-second summary, just having AI agents that can then go do things on your behalf without needing a human in the loop. That's sort of a next phase of implementing AI into a business and an organization. That's what a lot of people are talking about right now. Don't have time to get to that today. But talking about moving from manual to AI optimized, what does that look like? How to do that? It all starts with choosing the tool, choosing the LLM. So LLM stands for large language model. I'm sure many of us have played around with at least one of these, if not many of these. ChatGPT, OpenAI's ChatGPT probably being the most popular one. But as you can see, there's a variety of options. These aren't even all of them. These are just a few I put on the slide. But I wanted to make a point here that I don't want to encourage anyone to choose one tool and live and die by that specific tool. There's a lot of noise out there about people leaving ChatGPT, moving everything over to Claude. And while I'm guilty, I do use Claude. It's my preferred tool. I think it's very powerful right now. But the race of AI technology is moving so fast that it's very likely that another one of these tools is going to release a feature next month that blows the other end of the water, and then we're back at square one. So I think the best thing you can do is just choose one that makes the most sense for your organization. A good example of this is Facilisgroup here. We are a Microsoft organization. We use Teams, we use Outlook, we use all those things. So we are a co-pilot organization. We leverage that tool in our day-to-day work, but do what works best for you. If you're a Google house and you're using Google Docs, Google Sheets, maybe Gemini makes the most sense. If you want to leverage Claude, Perplexity, or ChatGPT, it's up to you. I'm not going to sit here and encourage you that you have to use one tool. I will be sharing more about Claude in the next few slides. So Claude is a very cool tool you should play around with if you have some extra time. But all of these tools do very similar things. And I wanted to show this as well. So if you're not familiar with artificialanalysis.ai, it's a website that scores AI tools based on their intelligence. Now they go super deep on, specific use cases, all sorts of interesting things, so you can understand which tools and models are the best at different things. Check it out. It's a cool site. But this little chart here shows the top 5 models as of, I believe I took the screenshot in probably the middle of March. So that's the thing. This is moving so fast. It could have changed by now, but middle of March is when I took this. And you can see how all of these tools are stacking up. It's neck and neck. There's lots of cool features that some are better at than others. Some are not as good at as others. So lots to dive into there. All right. Got to move fast. I want to make sure we got enough time for everything. So I want to share Claude projects. This is where I recommend you guys go and leverage the SOP optimization that I'm talking about. Now, again, I'm using Claude projects. OpenAI's ChatGPT has a similar feature. I know Microsoft Copilot has a similar feature. It's essentially where you can upload documents and files, give it instructions, and then you will be able to prompt the tool and it will have context into whatever you've uploaded to it. So you can upload those SOPs, upload brand guidelines, upload any pieces of data you want it to have context into. And it's going to be able to start creating that sort of consciousness, that sort of brain for your organization's information. And then yourself, team members can start leveraging this to streamline their operations, speed their day up, all sorts of great stuff that I'll talk about here in a second. But the projects feature of these tools is definitely something you should be using, whether it's on an individual level, just testing things out, or organization-wide, implementing that for the company is a great use case as well. Taking that a step further, there is Claude Cowork. I'm not going to go too deep on this because this gets a little more technical, but if you haven't played around with this, I recommend doing so as well. Very basic description, very basic level of Claude Cowork. Essentially what this is you can download the Claude app to your computer, and Claude Cowork exists in the desktop apps, but exists in the actual app on your device. And you can give it access to folders, files, documents on your actual device. So goes without saying the security risks and things to that nature. So do with that what you will. We'll talk more about security in a little bit. But it is super cool what it can do. As you can see in this example, I did that same margin analysis example. But as you can see in this little walkthrough, when I hit work in a folder, I choose the folder on my desktop. And then in the prompt I give it, I didn't have to upload a file. I just said, hey, look at that file that's in the folder I just shared with you. Build me this really cool graphic, whatever the prompt was, to visualize that data. So Claude Cowork, play around with it. It's very cool. I will warn you, if you're familiar with Claude, then you know that there's those usage limits, and Claude Cowork does use up those usage limits quite a bit. So there's that. Moving forward, let's keep it rolling. So this will be part of the toolkit as well. This will help you guys with taking what's in your brain, dumping it into SOPs, and then enabling those SOPs with these AI tools. That should be super helpful. And it goes deeper on some different use cases as well. And then another just call out for partners on the call. You guys have a great head start here already. The Core 360 playbooks that are, those optimized workflows for daily, weekly, monthly operations. That's a great starting point. That's a great place to start and understand, okay, this is what we should be doing. How can we make sure the organization is consistently doing this? It's only going to help you become more efficient, and it's a great place to start when you're using these AI tools. All right. Tactic 4 is kind of building off of Tactic 3 that I just talked through. So great, we've built this consciousness. We're leveraging whatever it is, Claude projects, Claude Cowork, whatever it may be. We're leveraging those tools. We're excited. How does this actually benefit us? Why is it worth time or money investment to do this? What does it do? And that's what I'm going to talk about in Tactic 4, your daily AI sidekick for taming emails, orders, and just information overload. How can we use these tools? So before I jump to that, actually, I forgot about this slide. This is a super cool example I wanted to share that I think emphasizes the importance of this and why I think it's vital for businesses to start trying these things out. This is an example. Giga AI is a small AI company that started, I think, in the last couple of years. They actually do AI sounding calls, which is a cool business. But you can see from this screenshot I took of their website, they've worked with some really cool people, DoorDash, Sendoso, some bigger organizations. But you can see in the top line there, what I really want to share and why I think it's worth sharing this with you guys is they were able to raise $61 million in Series A funding. They only had one single full-time employee at the time. that sounds ridiculous. That sounds fake. That sounds crazy. How were they able to do that? They built their own internal AI, which they called Atlas, that had the ability to essentially do every single thing that anyone in the organization was able to do at any given time. So it sat in the middle of the organization. It was able to automate workflows from sales to CSR to finance to operations to management to reporting, everything in the business. This internal AI Atlas was able to do it, which led to exponential growth for their business. This is obviously an extreme example. We're just trying to, replicate this as much as we can with the tools we have at our disposal. But just an example of where things are going, what businesses are doing that are out there in the world. And I think this is a cool example to share. So how can we do this? How can we take this back? We built this consciousness, whether it's on OpenAI's ChatGPT, whether it's on Claude, Copilot, whatever it may be. How do we leverage this? How does this benefit us and our teams? So it's your AI daily sidekick. You've got a variety of things you can start doing no matter where you sit in the organization, whether you're on the sales team and you're drafting those custom follow-up emails and proposals faster. Sure, you could do this without leveraging the projects feature and having contextual information, but having that context into branding guidelines, brand voice, business overviews, things like that, it's going to make the results and what you get out of your prompts way better and way more consistent across your team. That's a big call out for marketing. Having the brand guidelines uploaded. We hear a lot of sales reps are potentially doing a lot of the marketing efforts. There may not be a huge built out marketing department. This can help sales reps get a little faster at that and get a little better at it. They can have their messaging be more consistent, more on brand, maybe have certain colors or fonts or just a certain way you want to communicate to your customers. This can really help align those things, streamline that, and make sure everything is more consistent. So a look at the return on investment of this stuff. This is the efficiency math problem, as I like to call it. And this is obviously just a high level overview here. But let's say a sales rep starts leveraging these AI tools. They're able to save time with proposals. They're able to draft follow-ups quicker. They have sharper understanding of pricing because they can do that supplier comparison work. They're able to make really cool mockups from Tactic One, which is super fun. And they can prep for meetings faster. That could result in an extra 7 hours a week for that particular sales rep. Where does that get reinvested? They can now do more selling. And then obviously the ROI piece, that's very high level. It depends on deal sizes, organizations, things like that. But there is a clear ROI on leveraging these tools to become more efficient from a sales capacity, but also from a customer success capacity, customer service capacity, rather. Order updates, reorders, client emails, recaps. Customer success representatives can now turn their focus away from putting out those fires that are happening to, I was able to put out way more fires faster. Now I can focus more of my time on that proactive client outreach. So I can start leveraging that. I can suggest reorders, flag those seasonal opportunities, things you may already be doing, just doing them at a much higher rate. That can result in that clear ROI. So, okay, I think that covers that slide. And then another piece of the toolkit we will share with you guys, the daily AI workflow cheat sheet. This has a ton of examples. I know I just had like a few bullets on that last slide. This piece of the toolkit will have in-depth different areas you can do this for client-facing content, client research, meeting prep, all sorts of different things. So that'll be helpful for you as well. All right, my last tactic before I hand it over to Cromar. So tactic number 5, AI plus your data, proceed with caution. So I wanted to share this piece because everything I've just talked about is super fun, super cool. It's something you should be leveraging, playing around with. I believe, I think it can really help. But for those that may not be Facilisgroup partners on this call, this may be a lot of what your tech stack may look like, where it's fragmented. You've got one system for your CRM, one thing doing order management, finance, e-commerce. Maybe there's others as well. You've got all these different tools, all these different things are running. To be able to take the information from those tools, throw it into a AI tool and leverage that information, 2 things happen. One, it takes time. You still have to export that information in some sort of format, upload it to your AI tool, and you're going to be doing that on a weekly, maybe daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, whatever it is. So there's that problem, right? There's the time problem where you still have all of your data lives in these tools. You have to export it and then get it into these LLMs. That's a time problem. The other problem is the data security issue, which again, we talked about. A good rule of thumb and something I would recommend is keeping this in mind is if you would not want your competitors to see this data, do not upload it to AI tools. Again, we're going to share the AI usage policy with you guys that we use here internally at Facilisgroup. So feel free to leverage that and implement that. Super, super important. But data security, data privacy, that should absolutely be top of mind. And I think it is super critical that we keep that in mind as we do this. And so we are still going to share this piece of the toolkit. It's 25 questions to ask your business's data. Super great. Even if you don't use AI tools to do this, I think these are great things for promo distributors to understand that can be helpful to ask your business. But as I'm saying here on this slide, proceed with caution, ensure your data is up to date. You want to protect any sensitive information. And I think above all, make sure you're protecting your client's data. The last thing any of us want is to get back that, oh, we accidentally put this information to AI, it got back to the client. We don't want any of that happening